Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of One Legacy. And today I have the privilege of welcoming Team Legacy's dynamic duo, Chris and Rich. Welcome to my podcast.
Hello, hello.
Hello, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, so for everyone that don't know why we call them the dynamic duo is they are not only partners in crime in the professional field in real estate, but they're also partners in crime for life on their personal side of things. So they are newly engaged couple, not really newly, I guess. They've been engaged for the last little while, but I'll let you guys introduce yourselves a little bit so everyone gets to know you guys a little bit better.
Okay, sounds good.
Ladies first, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Kelly. I am a realtor with Team Legacy. Fun fact, I was the first agent on the team. So everybody else, has come into the team and we've grown the way that we've grown over the last little bit. Prior to this, I was a horticulturalist. So that was what I did as my career. And I've worked for many different municipalities during that time, and it's I know it sounds like a very interesting shift to what I'm doing now, but I've loved every second of it. Couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Oh, it's my turn. Um, hey everybody, my name is Richard. I'm also with Team Legacy. Excited to be on the podcast. Appreciate you inviting us on. So about me, I've been doing real estate now for some time, maybe like 3, 4 years. I've been licensed as a realtor for just over March 1st. So yeah, a year and a few months. I wasn't too sure what my plan was when I got into it, but I'm very quickly and violently, it seems, being dragged towards commercial and off markets. I primarily deal with investors, so that's sort of my bread and butter, and that's what I do now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So I wanted to share with everyone, and it was a very highly anticipated podcast because, as a lot of people know, in real estate, it's a business, and usually businesses or a business is very tricky when it comes to operating a business as an entrepreneur. Never mind being in business together with your better half. And a lot of people have asked, how does the dynamics work when you're as a couple working together closely and succeeding together and thriving together? There's going to be a lot of the juicy details that's we're going to be discussing here. So if you're individuals out there wondering, or if you're a couple that's thinking of getting into business together, specifically in real estate, you want to pay attention to this because it's amazing. Like I'll allow them to share with everyone their journey, but it's such amazing to see their growth and their progress, and it's worth sharing with people out there that I'm sure can resonate with, and going through some of the challenges and also the success that they've both encountered, the highs and lows. So why don't we get right to it? So my first question for you guys, and feel free to chime in whenever you guys want, no order necessary, is when you and your fiance, your better half, first started working together, what was the biggest adjustment in separating your roles as partners in life versus partners in business?
That's a good question. Um, well, professionally, like I'm going to speak to myself, but like professionally, I relied on Chris a lot, especially when I got my license because she transacted in real estate as a realtor before. She had a lot more sales training than I had. She has sort of done the song and dance, so I had to really learn from her. So, on the back end, my role ended up becoming a lot more of like the guy who cooked dinner. And so while I was doing that, I was also making sure that I was trying to stay as immersed as I could And now that I've got a little bit of my own momentum and I've had the time immersed within the team so that I was able to really kind of get my voice and understand how to navigate certain situations, I could apply that to the side of this business that I'm passionate to. So that's where my role started to split off a lot more. But yeah, in the back end, I think we're just really like supportive of each other and we try and collaborate and be in the room as much as we can together whenever we
Mm,
can. So yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
I would say something very, very similar to that. I think one of the biggest things with being in the industry together, our roles have shifted. I see Rich as being more of like the analytical person. I'm very relationship forward. That typically is my role. And I think that one of the biggest things for us was going from being in business, in 9 to 5s basically, and going into being in business for ourselves. The biggest shift was, it's hard not to talk about the business when you're at home. And so separating that from our daily discussions was something that I would say is still a challenge for us, but just being more cognitive of how we show up for one another around that now is like we don't, we're working together every single day, spending 24/7 together. Um and for some people, that can be a lot. And, for us, I would say that the biggest shift was going from having our own separate things to being in business because you don't want to treat your partner like a roommate. and and that's where I feel a lot of people that and couples specifically that are in business together start to treat each other like roommates or like coworkers. And so being intentional about those things, and about like date nights and stuff like that was something that became a role that I never would have expected to take on.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with that because I think from time to time, the business and personal, not just emotions, but the topics of discussion gets mixed together and it gets very confusing. And to separate yourself from those two roles sometimes could be very challenging. And, as motivated, as ambitious entrepreneurs I know you two as, it's hard to get off the topic of doing more, building more, and creating more. And that comes with the topics that, comes into discussion, not just from time to time, but it does creep in. And I think having that separation, those boundaries where you guys have those date nights set and really protect it because it's very important to have those alone time, personal time versus business partner time, right? And I think
Yeah.
that I've seen both your guys' journey in dealing with that and handling that, and at first it was definitely difficult, and through I think self awareness and also self reflection, you guys were able to really pull yourself back and kind of slow things down because business can be very fast paced at times and we're typically very reactive, just depending on our workflow and our workload, right? So I applaud that you guys have come a long ways to be able to have that separation and now to be able to benefit from that on not only a professional level but also on a personal level. I'm personally very envious of you guys in that sense because it's very rare and unique to be working alongside your partner and to be able to thrive in business the way that you guys do and really keeping the arguments or the dramas or the friction to a minimum. I think that's requires a lot of discipline and a lot of trial and error. So very, very testing, but definitely your resiliency. I've seen it time and time have pushed through and made you guys stronger as a couple.
Yeah.
So second question I want to ask you guys is every successful partnership experiences disagreement, and we know that. Can you share a time when you and your fiance had different opinions on a client, transaction, or business decision and how you work through it without bringing it home?
Absolutely. So I know you're already laughing about it. We definitely have disagreements in the things that we say, in the way that we have phone calls with people, the way that we prospect. And I think that really chalks down to the fact that we are very different personalities. And it's taken some time for me to learn that the same information can be delivered in different ways, but still come to the same result. And so for me, I see myself as someone who's very refined in the things that they say, and the way that I position conversations as well is very different from than what Rich does. Because Rich is someone, and I've learned to love this about you, is he loves to be authentically himself, which I feel is something that our clients really, really love and appreciate. And why we've had so many people come back to us, because they're like, hey, man, like, you understand this in a way that no other realtor does. And so he speaks in analogies, and he has his own quirky way of saying and doing things. And it really, I'm just in awe at the things that you say and how you say them, and the way that you are with people, because it's so authentically you that sometimes they're like, why would you say that? And, and then the person responds the way that they do, and their clients for life. So definitely a learning curve there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very kind words. I think sometimes I run my business a little bit unorthodox. Um, I've often come up with these brilliant, masterminds on my own, and it shows. And I run them past Chris,
And I
and
do this.
then
Ooh.
and then and then I'm quickly brought back to the realm of reality. And so I think, just to answer your question, I think that there is sometimes often where I try and be overly collaborative. Um, and in my heart, it's about doing good business with as many people as possible and keeping the network strong. At the risk sometimes of some profitability, for sure, especially for like the amount of work that goes into some of these deals. And it generally pays out in the long run. But that doesn't mean by any means that I knew what I was doing. It's the seat of my pants. But Christine has always been like a very level head, with respect to what I can bring my pie in the sky ideas. I can bring them to her, and she can knock me, back into place in a respectful and collaborative way, not like a you suck or anything like that, but can actually have like a high level discussion about them. And often we'll get an idea of like what the next step is for whatever it is that we've discussed. And I generally find that like we're excited after we have these conversations together.
Well, it's a shift in perspective. And I think that that's a big thing, is just shifting that perspective to like, hey, okay, nobody's right and nobody's wrong. And now you see it from my point of view.
Yeah.
And just having the ability, I would say, to actually walk around to the other side, even though my side is a 6 and his side is a 9, like, coming back over that direction and saying, hey, actually, you're right. It is a 9. And now I see that. Right. So that's where the communication comes in. And that's where a lot of difficulties happen for, you know, I think most of our agreements happen from miscommunication or just not understanding the perspective of the other person.
Under communication, maybe,
There you
like,
go.
because if we miscommunicate something, it's usually communicated back to us very quickly that it was miscommunicated. Um, I think like it's important that we let the other person, like, this is something that, and this takes a lot of investing in understanding like each other and giving you the space you need to say what you need to say, hearing what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and then offering my perspective.
Yeah.
I noticed that there was a few situations that we've had recently where this actually really helped, where I think I asked for permission to share my perspective.
Yeah.
And then once I did, we had the whole picture. We were like, oh, we're saying the same thing here and here. I didn't even see it that way, and you didn't even see it this way. And now we're now
On
we're
the same
now we're
page.
kosher, and we're good.
Yeah.
So like that's definitely like the biggest thing is it's more of a remedy to how we go about when we don't see eye to eye initially, is to seek to understand, really. Yeah.
Yeah. From that conversation of both you guys, I think the general theme that I'm getting from you guys is respect and communication in the sense that we're the only individual that knows ourselves the best, right? And we're, we typically have a tendency of expecting the other person to know us as well as we know ourselves. And we know that that's unrealistic and unreasonable to expect, but it
Okay.
happens. And I think in this dynamics of a couple within business, you have to somewhat over communicate, even though the other person knows exactly what you're gonna about to say, but it reaffirms what they believe. And I think that's where um, it solidifies and it strengthens the relationship even further because from time to time you have to just get that confirmation that yeah, that person still gets me. They got me before, but then there's still a chance that they can't, they won't get me now. And it might be the exact scenario with slight differences, but to ask for that and get the same reaction, to get the same answer, and to get the clarification and really having that mutual respect for one another. I think that's what I'm getting here, guys. And I think that's where you guys can problem solve so well. And despite that you guys have differences and that there's challenges, but you're able to work it out in a civil manner. So the third question that I want to ask you guys is what have you learned about your fiance's strengths as a real estate professional that you may never have fully appreciated if you weren't working together every day?
Oh, do you need time to think about it?
No.
Um, well, Christine, first of all, she's very versatile. She has a tendency of just finding really unique ways of building rapport with so many different personality types. Um, I've been able to watch her grow into that person because in the beginning, I think she maybe only resonated with like a quarter of the people that she met, and now I think that she's easily tripled that. So I would say that more often than not, when she meets somebody, she can build rapport quickly with them in a very organic way. And I also think that she's very unassuming, non-threatening. She's non-threatening.
Wow.
And I think that in this industry, there's a lot of collaboration opportunities that are afforded to people that are non-threatening because it's so competitive. And Christine has found ways to navigate those waters. And she does it with like such grace that people want to work with her. And those people, I think, could be often confused with competition, even though the opportunity is actually collaboration. And Christine bridges that gap between that. And so that's really cool to see that that's what she brings to the table. And it's something that you can't really train it. It's a unique proposition. It's a unique value that she has. So that for me is what's like a big standout feature of like what you bring to the table.
See, and that's interesting because I, for me personally, it's Rich's ability to be a connector and be a networker. And there's honestly no place that we go here in Edmonton where we're like walking down the street or we're out for dinner or something and someone comes up and they're like, Richard, nice to see you. Like, haven't seen you in years. Right. And
That's
then
true.
he starts up a conversation with them and they haven't seen him for years and they're like, hey, how's the family, how's this, how's that, like, we met in soccer, and then he'll like introduce me. And that's one thing I definitely appreciate about you is like you always take the opportunity to introduce me and like truly a partner in all aspects. But that would be Rich's superpower, is his ability to network, his ability to connect with people on more than just a surface level, because I feel like a lot of, and let's be honest, it's not just real estate agents, but there's a lot of professionals that think that they need to act a certain way in order to create that rapport with you or in order to create that connection with you. And a lot of times, what's sacrificed is authenticity or like the genuine feeling of getting to know someone. And so, what I love about the way that Rich has built his business is he's like, hey, how do I help you? How do I assist you? And by doing that, obviously things are going to happen in my direction as well. But if they don't, then I'm happy for you. And that has always been something that I've really appreciated about you, because you're so good with people and you're so comfortable in your own shoes, that you're able to just pick up a conversation like that with someone and then turn that potentially into business, or at least build on that and help that person better their life. So that's what I think your true superpower is.
Or at the very least, we can send them our plumber contact or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree with both what you guys said about your individual strengths, because I think the theme that you guys both possess is authenticity and just being genuine. Even though you guys build rapport very, very differently, and the amount of time that's required for you guys to build rapport is different, but I think
Mhm.
you guys get to a certain level of high level trust. And with that is allowed you guys to build such a deep rooted, meaningful relationships with the people that you meet. And those people end up being either lifelong friends or lifelong clients. And I think that's where, in a world where it's, go, 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 where there's no time to build relationships, or is there a more efficient way to build relationships? Um, what I've learned is there really isn't. I don't think there's really a shortcut of doing that. I think relationships is something that you work on. It's a investment in terms of the other person, in the sense of getting to know them at a deeper level. um, I think is becoming more and more rare that that actually happens. Yes, you can look at it as it takes longer, but I think that's the only way, and I think that's the way where you go from transactional to relationship building, and I think that's where your clients, your friends, your family can feel that first and foremost, and they really appreciate that, and because it's so rare that the other person just gets them, right? And gets them at a deep level. So yes, excellent. That's really, really part of my way of doing business as well. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers here would agree with that. That's one of the best ways to build connection. And connection is something, again, we're losing more and more of, right? So definitely we want to make sure that we retain that in the world where connection is commoditized. It's turning into AI, right?
Yeah,
AI is good for certain things, but certain things when it comes to relationships, AI can't replace that, right?
that's right.
So
Like, we said.
really, really good. Really, really good. We're getting into the meats and bones of the conversation here. So the next question I'm really, really dying to know is, has working together accelerated your personal and professional growth, or has it exposed areas you needed to improve as individuals? And a follow up to that is, what lessons surprised you the most?
Ooh, I would have to say both. There's definitely been things where we known again have been our superpowers, and it seems like we're on the same path with that. But it's also exposed other areas, and specifically our ability to run a business, to step into this role. I would say it's exposed, systems, processes, the way that we've built relationships with people as well, the things that we've said, the training that we've had as well. And it's also given us a lot of growth, both personally and, professionally, I would say. Um, Mainly in the mindset area, because I think that a lot of people really struggle with obstacles, and a lot of those are created through the way that you think through things. And so for me personally, I would say the growth, 90% of my growth has been mindset, because if you had asked me what version I was even 3 years ago, I wouldn't be the same person that I am sitting here today, because there's been years and years and years of emotional growth that have occurred just from having those deeper level conversations with people, and we're now able to bring that to our clients as well. And like, I think a lot of my coaching calls and like consultation calls end up being therapy sessions. So was that
So
a role
true.
I thought I would ever step in as a realtor? No, but we do wear many different hats, and it's definitely
Yeah.
something that we're actually able to bring forward to our clients, and again, that they appreciate us for.
Mm. How about you, Rich?
Well, like the question is, I think they go hand in hand because to accelerate your business, you need to understand what the weak areas are and how to either strengthen them. In this case, because there's two of us, we've gotten lucky in some areas where we were able to strengthen them by one of us having that as a strength, and we can lean on each other for those strengths. But there's still some areas like our truck's a mess, man. Like we we build trust quickly, I think. We're very good at helping people, but like we can't keep our truck clean. So that's just not a strength that either of us have. And so things like that, when it comes to like bookkeeping, we're like, oh shoot, we gotta go back to the truck and we gotta like there's a pasta sheet that's covered in something. So, there's like that's just a very, surface level example, but there are some things even personally that um have been exposed through tough times, because good things like good times
Well,
don't
just be
really
real about it. It's all
good
good.
good times don't really test you. So like it's when you're in the shit,
The thick of things.
yeah, the thick of things, that you really start to you have to give yourself space to reflect on the areas that you're weak in. And I think the biggest thing though is it's not just about us. Like we don't operate in a vacuum, and we outsource a lot of the mindfulness activities and the headspace activities. I mean, outside of this podcast, Andy, I know that you and I and you and Chris and the three of us have had numerous hours of conversations
Yeah.
about how to overcome the things that are being exposed as we're growing ourselves and our business. So yeah, it's and by doing that we can accelerate we have been able to accelerate our business.
Well, and growth isn't done through comfort, right? It's the uncomfortable activities that Rich and I have had to take on, right? Like,
Cleaning our
I
truck.
mean, yeah, that's definitely one of them, but it's also it's been a shift in who we used to be to where we are now, and the things that we've had to move forward from in our past in order to create this beautiful bright future, right? And be that force of nature for other people, and that actually took us a while to create that, because there was times, yeah, that were very difficult in the business. And I'll be real about it. Definitely have had some struggles financially when we first started, and and it hasn't been perfect building the business out the way that we've built it. And there've definitely been a lot of painful points in time where we come back to you and come back to the team and been like, help us, save us, right? And we've always pulled through, but a lot of that is also from just meeting the people and growing into the people that we are and having the clients and having their trust and support and understanding what it actually takes to build a business in this industry. There's a lot of people that wouldn't have gone through the pain and through the growth and through the SHIT, as you like to say.
I don't usually spell it out.
um, as Rich and I have, and it's been a learning curve, and it's been very painful, but it's also been extremely rewarding.
Well, good pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, right? It might be completely off base, but I think that a lot of people come into this industry thinking it is easy and
Mm,
thinking that it's a walk in the park. But to be an entrepreneur, there's certain things and challenges that we face that a lot of people don't know about and don't hear about. And it's not just about the driving the nice cars or the glorious things that people know a real estate agent and what they do, and they
yeah,
don't just collect a commission check and don't do any work or do very little work. It's actually every dollar is earned. And I think that seeing you guys' journey, together and also separately, I was able to really witness that side of you guys, both professionally and personally, because as a couple, sometimes the problem is not with you guys and the client; it's sometimes it's you and each other, right? And when that happens, you guys can't always talk to each other and solve it, because what got you into the the situation can't get you out of the situation. And a lot of it is the mindset and the thoughts and the thought process behind it, right? And to hear it from maybe a third party with an unbiased perspective, I think it gives you something to also consider, and maybe a different viewpoint that you haven't considered, and that from time to time gives you more insight into, oh, I never thought about it that way or never considered those things. And what you said may have been hurtful, or it might have been how you perceive things might have been um, misunderstood, right?
yeah,
And at the end of the day, especially when it comes to friends and family, or loved ones like each other, the intention is not to hurt one another, right? It's really just to seek for understanding, to seek clarity. And once you do, then you're like, hey, I want to protect the thing that we're working so hard to build. And it's the relationship, it's a love, right?
yeah,
Between each other. So that's where, once you guys have gone through the individual journeys yourself, I've seen that you guys have come out of it much stronger as a couple, because now you guys understand that, hey, it's never the intention to hurt one another. It was just we just we're just basically saying the same thing, but just saying in different words or expressing it differently.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, um, I guess the next question I want to ask you is, think about it this way, and this is like a future vision question: is 5 years from now, what does your ideal relationship and business partnership look like? And follow up to that is, how are you intentionally building that vision today instead of just hoping it happens?
What?
Me, 5 years from now. I mean, this is a thought exercise that I don't give enough time to. Um, it's very easy to get caught up in the day to day whirlwind. So this is actually a very challenging question. Um, I, I mean, there's base things that I hope for. Without getting into the dreams yet, but like stability, a couple kiddos, nice home, businesses flourishing. Um, to get into specifics, I mean, it'd be nice to have, a couple, places to escape to in the wintertime, and some more time freedom, and honestly just a bigger version of what we've built now. Um,
Mm,
with respect to like our clients that we've helped, they often become friends, and so our social circle is growing, and it's sort of a mixture of this professional circle at the same time. They sort of Venn diagram into each other, and the middle section is quite big and it's constantly growing. So as that continues to grow, I think that's what, the hopes is that it gains that momentum and continues to be like that and that much bigger in 5 years.
mm,
But we've taken agency into the areas of our life that we want to see grow, and we're putting a lot of effort into them. And so it's more just a consistency basis. It's just to keep this thing going for 5 more years. We don't have to make much drastic changes at this point. We just got to keep it going. So it's
yeah,
consistency. Yeah.
Yeah.
nice.
I would say ditto for sure. I think for us, the future that I see is very bright. Absolutely everything that Rich said and more. Stability in the business, creating those connections, referrals, everything that you would want when building a business, but then also starting to find a path outside of the business as well, because we are in this career to help people and to obviously build a life for ourselves. But to do more is something that's very important, and to have the business run in the background while we continue to expand and create new opportunities and lean into like potentially a few investment properties, and go the route of maybe even being realtors somewhere else, right? So just expanding that business to potentially outside of Edmonton.
Hmm.
Nothing is off the table, and that's what I love about the life that we've created so far, is that what we thought would never be opportunities that would come our way have surprised us in the best way possible. And so to continue to open yourself up to the possibility of so many amazing growth opportunities, like where Rich is today in his investment focus side of his career, is astounding to where he was last year, because he's literally got people calling him saying, "Hey, can you connect me to the person that I need this from?" Or, "Hey, Richard, I saw that you were into new builds. Can you tell me a little bit? Can you coach me a little bit on that?" Right. And so becoming that one stop shop is something that's very important to both Rich and myself, especially for the clients that rely on us, because all they have to do is give us a call, and we have someone, come hell or high water, that can assist them with whatever they're dealing with. So that is definitely something I think about my clients that have done business with me on a daily basis. And now I'm like, how do I give them more love? How do I do more things for them to show them that I truly care about them? And thank you for supporting my business. And that's where right now the thought is, let's build out something so that I can give that love, give that mutual respect back to them, and show them that it's not just a one transaction. This is a lifetime thing, and I love you for that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you guys because, some of the clients that you guys work with, I had the honor to be able to meet as well. And they have nothing but great things to say about who you guys are and how authentic you guys are, and how you guys made the process that much more smoother. But I think the overall theme that I'm hearing is just how taken care of and looked after they feel that you guys have provided them with, through the challenging process of either buying or selling a home. And I think that's one of the biggest compliments that you can receive. And it's definitely a metrics where it lets you know that you're on the right track and you're doing the right things. Just keep it doing more of that,
Yeah.
and there will be more people that resonate with that and want that, well, you'll attract them. And I think that's, again, going back to you guys' superpower and authenticity, that's really what the driving force of this is, right? Is just serving people at the highest level and being a one-stop shop, like you said earlier, Christine, is just being a resource for them, detaching from the outcome and not looking to get compensated every single time that you help someone.
No.
No, I don't think it's about that, and I think by you guys approaching business this way, it's really opened up the opportunities and the doors that you guys have open for you guys right now and continue to, open doors. So I would say good job, keep doing what you guys are doing because there's people out there that appreciate that.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, 100%, and bonus question that I'm gonna leave you guys with here,
Oh,
and very, very anticipated to know is if there were to be another engaged or married couple that approach you and said, "We're thinking about building a real estate business together," what's the one piece of advice you'd give them that could save them years of frustration?
don't do it. No, I'm just kidding.
You know
Don't
what?
do it.
In a way that is true because it's one of the things you have to deal with. You just everything has its limits, and sometimes you get frustrated. I think it's just par for the course when you're building a business. Um, I Communication is everything. Like everything. To know that you're heard, to have a safe space,
Yeah.
to speak candidly, to have a safe place to argue. It doesn't always have to be a bad thing. An argument could just be a difference in perspective, but to understand that there's a methodology about going about it without destroying anything. You can understand what the other person is trying to say. Being honest, like all the things all the books all say, right? They all sound cliche, but they're written in many books for a reason. It's because they're true. Um, just to have patience. For a lot of us, it's a new skill that we're building. Not everybody is a high powered salesperson. And what that entails is an identity shift that is at a magnitude that most people can't comprehend because it takes a long time to get it. To make that I to have that identity shift in the right direction. It's not A to B. It is like sailing to the horizon. It's a
It's
constant
like
journey.
this.
It's
Yeah, it's
that
not
too.
linear.
It's a constant
Yeah.
journey, right? Like we've set our destination as the horizon, which means we'll never reach it. But that for us is okay because to put ourselves in that perspective and just instead of looking at we're never going to get there, we can always look back and say, look how far we've come. That anybody who's willing to undertake that and go through that shift, I think real estate is a welcome place for that, and that would be my best advice. Really, just
Mm,
always grow. Yeah,
yep.
Interesting. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing for getting into business together is I don't think Rich and I were prepared that we would spend as much time together as we do. But what I do like about it is the safety aspect of things as well, especially being a woman in real estate.
Hmm.
Is having someone there who can complement the way that I say things or do things, attend showings with me as well, make me feel comfortable because I find that a lot of women, especially in real estate, we have to think about our safety, and it goes for men as well. But for me, that was a big draw. Was like, okay, I've got Rich. He's my big burly man who's with me. And, he can understand things in a different way or connect with different personalities. And so when you have someone that you can spend all day with and then go home and spend the rest of the day with, and you don't bring any of that home, that's where it's very important to have that, because there's not a lot of people that can actually be in business together, spend not much time together, and not be at each other's throats. So, like, the biggest thing that I would say to someone who's asking me that is, yes, communication is key. And I think it's also having a level of forgiveness, dipping into the unconditional love, because you can't forget why you're building this business together. Your
Mm,
why should make you cry, and that's what Joe says.
yep.
And the moment that you lose that, everything starts to fall apart. So if this is seriously something that people are considering as a couple to get into business, lean into each other for the good times, lean into each other for the bad times, because you need that support system, and have a level of understanding and love and care towards each other, because stuff's going to happen in this career, and it's not going to be easy, and it's going to challenge your really, you can't even imagine. The biggest thing is still remembering what you're building and why you're building that. And that's where I think Rich and I have the same vision. And that's why we're able to be in this business together and, give each other the space that we need, but also be on the same page.
Yeah. I just like in a relationship, having a business relationship, it's not just a relationship, it's a partnership. And no different than, husband and wives or boyfriend, girlfriend, it's a partnership. So it's not so much like where each person gives 50% and it makes 100%. It's every person needs to put in 100% and the other person puts in 100%. And that's where true partnership happens in my opinion, right? And I think that sometimes you're not going to be 100%. Your 100% might be your 20% for that day, because there's highs and lows. There's no perfection, right? Some days you don't feel like going to work, or you feel like you're not showing up your best. That's okay. The other person's to fill the gap and to complement the difference, to because you guys move as a partner, as a unit. And together, that as long as you guys have each other at the end of the day and have each other's best interest in mind, it's just going to work itself out over the long term, right? And I think that um through this journey, that's where you learn to appreciate each other more, to be able to really understand each other's love language and understand each other's personality types, because we are unique individuals at the end of the day, and we can't mind read the other person or party. And so to over communicate, like you guys mentioned, and to clarify is one of the key things to longevity, and um, to ensure that this relationship is going to last and is going to sustain, because you guys want to create a career, you guys want to build a legacy. I know you guys mentioned that before. And a lot of couples out there, a lot of people thinking of getting into business. These are key things to really consider, and to really discuss with your significant other before you guys get into partnership, because when it comes to business, it's a mirror, right? It's a reflection. So you want to make sure that that whatever you guys put into it, you're gonna get out, and whatever you guys do in it, it's 100% the truth. And the reflection sometimes comes back is not what we like to see, but it's what we need to see.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that reflection is on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, really wanted was anticipating this podcast with you two, because I know that from day one to now, I've seen you guys grow so much, so much. And I know that a lot of people, friends and family included, are rooting you guys on and cheering you guys on, almost like a television show. Like it's like, hey, are they gonna last? Or when's the next big
Wow.
argument? I'm sure
Stay
if you're one
tuned.
of them out there, right? I'm just saying, right?
Stay tuned.
But yeah, no, I think for people or doubters or haters out there, sorry to disappoint you guys, because these two right here have worked really hard to get to where they are. to maintain that high level trust, rapport, and love relationship. That's why they're such a killer, such a dynamic duo when it comes to crushing it in real estate and helping the people that have come back with raving reviews. So I'm very, very proud of you guys. I continue to love to support you guys in any way, shape, or form. And I'm going to leave you guys with that, okay?
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Thanks for having us on.
Amazing. Thanks again for tuning in to One Legacy podcast. As mentioned last video, we're going to have many, many more high valued, high influential people that's going to come into this podcast to share their knowledge base, their words of wisdom. So stay tuned for our next episode of One Legacy podcast. Have a good day. We'll see you again. Bye.
One legacy. One legacy. We came from the same